All right. This is a little quick paper I wrote just to go over some of the aspects of the business plan that I discussed in my other videos. And this one is titled Let's Fix the World. You know, corny and cheesy, whatever you want to call it, it's still relevant and it applies. This is very important information, and we need to hurry up and get this done. All right, so, you know, we all know this planet is in terrible shape. You know, the human constantly in conflict. There's wars, famine, poverty, disease, sickness, and we know that more than 95% of this planet is pretty much way below the potential that they could be living, because we know how we're living on the West, and people in Africa, Asia, India. You know, it's not even a cultural thing. I hate when people try to make it seem like it's about their culture. It's not. They're poor. They don't have the shit we have. They don't have the resources we have. They don't have the money we have. There's a difference. If they had the resources, they'll be living the same exact way. Pushing whips, driving cars, and using cell phones. But how do we fix this mess? Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows what's wrong. There's 1,000 videos and documentaries that'll tell you what is wrong with this world. How does anybody suggest we fix it? Well, I could go on about all the other suggestions, what other people have said that we need to do to fix the world. I disagree. I think it's a waste of time. Any solution that requires a collective action, that requires that the whole group take part, for everybody needs to get together and do this. This is not going to happen ever. We have to create an incentive for people to do what they do. There has to be a market, a real tangible incentive. People are not going to starve to death just for freedom. People are not going to put their life on the line just for peace. I mean, some will, but not enough will to actually make a difference fast enough. It will make a difference, but it'll take forever. And you know what I'm talking about. Everybody in the freedom movement, anarcho-capitalists, libertarians, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you're pushing for freedom, you know what I mean when everybody says, you know, we somehow have to get the corrupt to stop being corrupt. It's like that's not going to happen. We have to come up with a way of using that system, using that mechanism, turning that corruption, that greed, whatever drives people to do whatever they do. We have to find a way to turn that into a system that propels us towards the kind of world we want to live in, if you understand what I mean. And that's the reason why I came up with this business plan and this idea. I mean, sure, eventually freedom will win out. Eventually you won't need this idea, because just the truth wins, you know. So the truth is going to win out. People are going to learn it anyway. But this is something I stumbled across that we could be doing right now. We don't need to go ask any government official for permission. We don't have to get everybody together to agree on something. Just go out and make it happen, because it's a profitable business model. So pretty much my thing is, what we're failing to do is trust. We're failing to trust each other. You know, we let each other get split up into corners, and we get jumped, and then we end up dying alone. And it's because we're too afraid of the next person to realize that we're all on the same boat, headed for the same fate, pretty much. And I believe this is what is holding back the human experience. We treat each other as strangers when we know each other as well as ourselves. We have to step outside of that paradigm. And when we see that, all that truly matters is those around us. The solution would then come within reach. Many have gotten to this stage of realizing that we're all connected, we're all together, we're all one, whatever, you know. And the thing is, something happens here that usually tips the person to the other extreme. So they went from one extreme, which is, yo, it's all me. I matter. I have to do whatever I got to do to take care of me. They shift from that extreme to, hey, I should sacrifice myself for everybody. It's just as extreme as the first position, you know. And it's like you took the filling in too much, but you're still individual. There's a reason for the duality in the experience. There's a reason why we experience both sides of it, and we're not just all together in some mush. There's a reason why we have separate egos. There's a purpose for that, and you have to keep that in mind when considering the fact that we're all connected. And the lesson we should get from understanding our connectivity is that the next person is that person separate from the rest of us, from the group, from the collective experience. The next person is separate because that person has a specific purpose that it needs to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain experience that is supposed to come from the split that causes the split to happen in the first place. So what you learn from that is that in order for you to reach your highest potential, or for me to reach my highest potential, or for anyone to reach their highest potential, everybody has to reach their highest potential. Because we're connected, but we're also not connected in a way that makes that happen. If you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, you don't. Whatever. I'm moving on. So we've been tricked into thinking that what is really valuable is precious metals, real estate, cars, collectible toys, and corporate stocks. So what we spend a lot of time investing in are items that have no life, because we know they're going to grow in value, which is all fair and fun. These are profitable investments, but we have to remember that there's always an opportunity cost. There's something else you could have been invested in. Sure, you made that 20% return this year, but what else could you have invested in that might have brought you an even greater return? That is what really matters in economics. In the science of economics, it's not the choices that are in your face, but it's the choices that you don't see that usually matter in economics. That's why we have the science, because they're counterintuitive things that the layman would not pick up on his own. So what are examples of things that you could have invested in that really mattered? Like, for instance, the physical, mental, and financial well-being of other humans on this planet. I believe that's the only true investment anyone should be making, is invested in other people. Because it really doesn't matter if you invest in real estate. If your neighbors are poor and starving and they come and steal from you, it's not going to help you. Doesn't matter if you get rich in gold, stocks, whatever else. Because if the people around you are starving, well, we already went over how we're all connected. So you see the implication. It doesn't really matter how successful you become through business items. The only reason those items mattered in the first place was through exchange with other people. And the better off those other people are, and the more they're able to accomplish, the better off you are, because you get the rewards from their productivity, and so forth, whatever. Now, what to get from this is that investing in each other is not, simply mean giving. A lot of people get into, will start ask me, oh, well, there's a ton of charities, a ton of donations, we give away so and so amount of money. Well, giving away money is not making an investment. It's throwing away money. You're subsidizing poverty. When you give people money that are poor and you have no expectation, no expected return for that money, what you're basically doing is you're paying them to be poor. You're telling them it's a good thing to be poor. It may not be a conscious thing. You may not be opening your mouth and spreading your lips and saying that, but in the reality of things, you're subsidizing poverty. You keeping those people poor by just sending them money. You that send food and drop it in planes over to those people where the rebels would just come and kill them and take the food. That is just pitiful. You can't give people stuff and have no expectation. That is insulting to the human spirit. It hasn't worked and it's not going to work. And we spend way more than enough money than what should have been needed to take care of this problem. So, what do we mean when we say invest in someone? Well, when you invest in someone, you invest in their productivity. You're not investing in, so they could get a job. No. You're investing in them so they could be productive no matter what the circumstances. That's how I would make that investment. So that means I would teach this person how to make money no matter what economy or field they were interested in. So I would not teach them a specific field. I would teach them how to learn a specific field. But really what I would teach them is just how to make money, and take that in any economy, whatever. They're human beings. They'll get bored of just making money and they'll follow their passions and dreams. We don't have to worry about that. That's not our job. Our whole purpose is to just make sure no matter what the circumstances, no matter what this person might end up facing, this person could be economically productive. And that pays us off. That's an investment. That's how, you could actually piggyback on the success of another human being. So instead of me helping this person get a job, what I'm doing is I'm helping this person start a business. And basically what everybody needs, is, and the way I look at it is like this. You can't just give someone money or training or whatever and that just be that, because we know too much about psychology. There's been too much science, there's been too much research. We understand that people do self-destructive things because of the way the mind works sometimes, and it's a protective mechanism, it's a self-defense mechanism that goes astray, but it doesn't matter, it's still there. So personally, before I would invest any amount of money into any individual, no matter how cool they were, how smart they sounded, I would send them to a therapist just to make sure that everything was fine psychologically, at least just to have a better chance that everything was fine psychologically, that the person was emotionally stable and capable to handle the investment that I was going to make into that person's productivity. I mean, it's not a huge investment. We're not telling them to become like super businessmen. We're just teaching them basic things that teenagers are using today on the internet to make money. You got teenagers making money on the internet with this crap. You know, you could use this to help people that really need it. It doesn't have to be the rich kid, you know, whose parents already have too much money doing this stuff to make extra money. You could use this to help the people who don't have anything. It's just that nobody's willing to go out there and do it. Everybody just wants to talk about it and act like God is going to come down and do it. Anyways, so before you take them through any kind of financial management training, business skills, communication skills, social skills, before teaching them how to make money, how all the crucial stuff, we have to first make sure that the mind is clear and that it's stable. Same with the body and the health. So this is why our company incorporates a full-blown training program, which is at least 3 months, but might be 6 months or longer, just to make sure that all the bases are covered, so that we know when this person starts working and starts creating businesses, this person is actually ready, and this person, you know, is on the much higher level of productivity than the average person on the street, simply because of their level of training and psychological preparation for what we're doing. See, it's stuff like this that makes a difference. It's not just a homeless shelter and I'm helping people get a job. This is not what I'm talking about. We're talking about something completely different here than anything that's available. Imagine if everybody had this available. If every person on the planet, you know, could just go to this company whenever they were ready, spend the 3 months, get trained, whatever, spend 6 months, a year, get trained, and come out owning a business or two, and that's it. They just have to keep the businesses going. And for that exchange right there, all their medical is covered, dental is covered, just cover everything just by the simple fact that you're willing to take the training and open a business. And we could do this and get rich off of it, because even if we don't need everyone to be successful. I mean, I keep repeating this, but we don't even need half of them to be successful. All it takes is that 5% that do really well to carry this whole program through, and we could eradicate poverty. Again, in the next section, I go over how is this feasible. And like I said, it's feasible because we're not just giving money away. We're not just throwing money away with no expectation whatsoever. It's feasible because when we spend money with these people, see, the way it's supposed to work, and if you've read the website or if you've looked at the other business plan, is we're spending about $12,000 on each person. $12,000 to $15,000 on each person over that time period. And out of that, we're getting a part ownership in their business, which we help manage. Now, the guideline we've set for success is that everybody that graduates from our program should be earning at least $35,000 a year. And $5,000 of that is our repayment. So we help you get $35,000 a year as long as you go through our training program successfully. No upfront fees for anyone. I think this would end poverty simply because we would make too much money. This would be the richest, wealthiest, well, besides the government, who just taxes half of everyone's money, we would tax half of people's money who we know were trained and had the financial support and backing to actually create highly profitable businesses out there. And as long as they maintain that minimal level of income, $35,000 a year, which is not nothing, they could do that, and that would cover the cost. That would make the whole project feasible. That would make us break even. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna do far better than just break even. I don't know, no one has tried this, but I'm pretty sure if we do this the way it's supposed to be done, not just objectifying people, trying to use and manipulate them to make a quick profit, but actually building them up to something solid, which no matter where you drop it, it will make a profit. Not because we do anything special, it's just some information they know and the access to the resources which we give them.